Good morning, gang. It's a Sunday morning. I know it's been a while since I've done this. It's mostly my fault. I'm not even going to try to point the blame at anybody. But anyhow, this morning, I decided I went and did my Sunday morning routine. And as I was doing it, I came across a Bible verse, and I can't remember it all of a sudden. um, but it's kind of potent because it pertains to a lot of what I think is going wrong with the nation. Well, yeah, I don't talk about the world. I talk about the nation when it comes to certain things. But it it was Proverbs 13:24, which reads, "Whoever spares a rod hates their children, but the ones who love their children is careful to discipline them." Which I think is part of what's going on with a lot of the kids today. There's not enough discipline because Dr. Spock and all those, oh, don't abuse your children, not realizing some children aren't abused, they're disciplined, um, cause the nation to become very reluctant to discipline their children because they're afraid that their children will go running to the authorities saying they were abused. Well, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. I'm a child of the military. So discipline was a natural occurring thing. My father, as big as he was a teddy bear when it came to normal everyday things. But when it came to discipline, he didn't use he used either his big massive meaty hands or a belt. Or in the 70s my mom had a paddle. My mom wasn't the greatest disciplinarian there was. And she had difficulty. I don't think she was 100% capable. Well, I shouldn't say 100% capable. She had difficulty with raising me because she got married young. She had me young. Um, Dad was the disciplinarian. Mom was the Mom was more the teacher, except for when it came to math. Dad was the math whiz. Um, but when I was growing up, every child got disciplined. I mean, throughout the 70s, children were disciplined left and right for their wrongdoings. Whether it was mom or dad giving them a spank or a paddle or a whatever, however you were disciplined during the 70s. I know a lot of you who watch my wife's channel, Jerry Ann, know our children of the latter generations that were disciplined. I'm pretty sure a lot of you can remember either your parents telling you to go outside and get a switch or just, dad grabbing you by the arm and spanking your butt. Um, and I don't know if any of your parents were like my dad, who was like, this is going to hurt me more than you, which at the time I was kind of like, yeah, right. But now in my 40s and looking back at a lot of things that I did that I got disciplined for, I was like, yeah, okay, that's a life lesson. Um, Sorry, I'm drinking directly out of a Sunny D bottle because it's almost dead. Which I can just hear a lot of people going, "Don't drink out of the bottle. Get a glass." But discipline nowadays have gone awry. A lot of parents who do try to discipline their kids either have to take away their cell phone or their Xbox or their electronic device and send them to their room, which, depending on what kind of house you live in or where you live, and if you're smart or sneaky enough, you can sneak out your window and hope you don't hurt yourself doing that. A lot of people who have single story homes, yeah, kids can sneak out the window. I'm not trying to give anybody ideas. But that's the thing. I see so many teenagers, and college kids who are total and utter, trying to be nice here, pieces of trash because they're undisciplined, they have no manners, no common sense, they'll go into. I work at a fast food restaurant. Well, fast food means basically when you call, get your name or number called, you come and get your food, and when you're done, you basically police your table, take your trash, and put it in the trash can. I have seen so many, not only well, I'm gonna go above college kids. I saw yesterday, last night, two families come in. One family ordered, I'm just gonna say about $60 worth of food, and used two different tables for their small family. Yeah, small family of six. And it was, I mean, okay, I was expecting like maybe Junior, the youngest out of the group, not exactly being clean. The woman who must have been the mother who ordered was a total, I don't even want to say the word, I don't like saying the word, but she was rude, very annoying, very, why can't you get my order right when I tell you what it is? It's like, I'm sorry, I'm punching buttons. You need to slow down a little bit. You know, and I was trying to be as nice as possible. Well, once they finally got their food, they came back up like two or three times for little things like cinnamon twists or cinnabons or dessert products or maybe another one of our frozen drinks. And I mean, I did my due diligence and was as polite as I could possibly be. Annoyed as can be, but I was still polite about it. But they didn't clean up after themselves. They literally left a mess on their tables. And that has happened multiple times with families, which is kind of like, really. Um, I know this is Missouri. I know this is a small town. I know things have changed in the last 2 decades since I was old enough to start working, even though I didn't really start working until later in my years. Um, but still, it's like, where's the common sense? Where's the dignity of being proper? Now, I can understand some of these college kids and these teenagers because they're away from mom and dad and they're on their own and they're having fun with their friends. But I've actually seen teenagers around here more polite, cleaning up after themselves. I don't expect them to grab a rag and wipe off their table or sweep up around their floor. That's kind of my job. But they don't leave their tables a complete disaster. They take their tray and their garbage and they put it in the proper places. But there are some of these college kids, especially, who are not from this area, who don't realize that here in Rolla, everybody knows everybody through one form of communication or contact, whether it's family friends or school friends, or mom knows your teacher, or dad knows your professor, or one thing or another. I mean, yeah, Rolla is a college town, but we at least have the dignity and proper manners to treat each other with respect and not just go into your business or your establishment or your workplace and leave it looking like who done it and ran, because somebody might get mad enough to do the same thing to you. Um, and that all boils down to your upbringing and the discipline you had as a kid. Now, I am 47 years old and I work. I think there was only one, maybe two other people who work in my store who are in my age range. They're in their 40s. And everybody else is like 20 years younger. I think the oldest person under me is maybe about 10 years younger than I am, in their 30s. And the rest of them are like kids, 17, 18, 19, 20 somethings. And, you know, we all respect each other no matter what our age level is because we work together. In fact, a lot of us who work together in the evening times have such camaraderie that we can make fun of each other and know that it's not serious. We're just playing around, goofing off. We're not being rude, mean, or because the reason why I say this is I have a spelling problem. I am classified from my teens, from my school days, as dyslexic, which basically means I either add a letter to a word or miss a word, or I just have spelling issues. All right. Now, because factor the way our system works is we take names. We don't call out numbers. We take your name, attach it to your order, and then call it out when it's done. Which has been really fun lately because factor I've been on the counter. Now, I know how to spell most common names, but when you have some weird name or like I misspelled Michael, it looks like Mikkel or McKill, because Michael, when I hear the word, I don't hear the A, I hear a different letter. So, and then because we have a lot of students, we have names that are foreign. About 2, 3 weeks ago, thereabouts, I was working the evening shift, and we had two guys come in, one right after another. So their names were next to each other. Well, the first name was Stefan, and I asked the kid to spell it because I knew it was depending on where you're from, it's a weird spelling. So I spelled it the way he told me to spell it. Next guy his name was Gage. Now I asked him how to spell it, so I spelled it how he put it on there. All right, told me. Now, when the girl who was calling out the names to give the orders, they had finished both orders simultaneously because we were kind of dead on the drive-through side. So, so the girl who handed it out said the names the way she thought it was supposed to be said. Understandable. You're not the one taking the order. So she called it out, and it sounded like she said stuff and gag. Now, now, for those of you who do not get annoyed by the factor that people cannot pronounce the names properly, let alone understand how it sounds, let alone how the customer might have felt, it annoyed me because of the fact that I was the one who took the order, and I should have probably been the one who handed out the order because I knew what the names were. But it became a ongoing joke because of the factor that I got. Not only did I get mad about it, but I was like, really, you people need to get out of Raleigh and go to a foreign country so you can understand foreign names and pronunciations of those names. So it on me it's become a running gag because of the fact that I do have that spelling issue. And I don't always ask the person's name, especially when we're in a lunch rush or dinner rush, because the fact that you've got people out the door and people in their cars around the building for the drive-through. So I try to do this as quickly as possible. Well, that being said, and looking back at it, I sit there and go, okay, I can understand what the joke is, and I had no problems with it. I've been growing up with this problem for 47 years. Okay. Now I was able to make it through a lot of my life because of the issue. It wasn't until high school, and this is where my discipline comes in, because as a kid when I was growing up, in fact, I'm probably going to do a series of stories about my youth, the different places I've been and whatnot, the different issues I've gotten into throughout my life. But when my dad was alive and in the military classified me as slow, which basically means you've got a learning problem. Well, it wasn't until after we got out of the military and after Dad retired in Arizona that we discovered exactly what my problem was. It was spelling, it was reading, it was writing. I had no problem with math. In fact, I didn't even graduate high school. I got out with a GED. I got out and went and got my GED. And my paperwork says I am below average with spelling and written word. I'm average with reading now. I'm slightly above average with mathematics. I am way above average on social studies and science. So, well, there's my strong point: social studies and science. I'm not a very social person, but you start talking to me about the map, world events, or not world events, world geography. There we go, geography. I got no problem with those. You ask me about certain kinds of reading materials and whatnot. I'm not interested in it, so I probably won't know nothing. You ask me about nature, science, Native Americanism, certain areas of history, um, the paranormal, um, Bible studies, religion. That's kind of right up my alley. Um, and if any of you heard the word paranormal, yes, that will be one of my vlogs. It will be about certain experiences I had with the paranormal. Yes, I've had experiences with the paranormal. I've always wanted to get into groups that are paranormal investigators. Like, in fact, it's all over there, all over Facebook lately. Tennessee Wraith Chasers. I watched their show. That's the stuff that I would dive into wholeheartedly if it was. Well, I don't worry about the money. I'm not a money person. In fact, I think a lot of people who worry extensively or who have too much money can go awry. My wife has, and I'm not going to say who she is, my wife has a viewer who has sent us twice now um, gift boxes with stuff that we need here at the house that I'm not exactly how much it would cost to buy, let alone the shipping handling. I appreciate this woman's gifts. She is one of the examples of a person who has extra money and does the right thing with it. Then there are people who have money, buku amounts of money. I'm just going to put the name out there: Donald frickin' Trump. Okay, he's got more money than he knows what to do with it, and he does all the wrong things. His presidency, we're not going to go there. I am not a political person, um, but knowing what I do know, what little I do know about him, and have seen the evidence of what he's done in the past with his money, sickens me. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. Go ahead and put it out there. He owned a casino in the Jersey Shores, and I'm not going to tell you what the casino was, but my wife and I went to the Jersey Shores just to check it out, to see Coney Island, basically. We drove past this casino. It was in desperate need of repair and upkeep. It looked like it was falling down. We didn't even go inside. I was looking at the outside of the building. I can only imagine what the inside looked like if the outside looked like it was falling down. And it was a piece of property that he owned. To me, he probably just got that for a tax write-off. Here's a funny thing, though. Donald Trump wanted to build a golf course. He had gone to Scotland, where golf was invented, bought up a ton of land. He needed one little parcel of land to make his dream golf course. That parcel of land was owned by a Scottish sheep farmer whose family had owned that for centuries. It's been in his family since the dawn of time, most likely. Donald Trump offered this man a boatload of money. The Scottish sheep farmer basically told him, and I'm not going to quote him because I don't remember exactly what he said, but put it this way: he told him to go take a flying leap. Told Donald Trump, the richest man we know, to take a flying leap. He didn't care how much money Trump was going to offer him for that parcel of land. That piece of land had been in his family for centuries. They had been doing the same thing for centuries: sheep farming, harvesting wool from the sheep for sweaters made in Scotland. kudos to this man, bravo to this man, because he told the richest person on the world to basically go F off, to take his money and fly to the moon. Because of this gentleman's brave, not caring about the money factor, just caring about the fact that the land was his and bought off and had been his and his family's and his ancestors for centuries. That man is a inspiration to me because he basically told this man, this billionaire, to go take a flying leap. He didn't care about the money. It was a principle of it was his land. What would he go do with the money? Find another piece of land to farm on? Why would you want to go take somebody's money to find another piece of land to farm on when you've already got the land and the farm and everything established? So, bravo. That's all I have to say. Now, this is getting long, and I've been talking extensively about everything besides discipline. Actually, no, I think most of my story was discipline related in one form or another. I'll probably cut that out because you don't need me to see me finish that. But discipline, I think, is a key factor of what a lot of people are losing nowadays because our world today is a instantaneous give me world. The only thing that's not instantaneous is the factor that you have to work long periods of time and whatnot, which takes the discipline to earn the money. Unfortunately, for a lot of us, like myself, nearly 90, if not 100% of my money that I earn, that I've disciplined myself to earn, goes to paying bills. Well, that's part of today's society. You instantly get your money direct deposited, but it instantly goes out to your bill collector. That I think that's one of the things that a lot of young people are don't understand is the factor that a lot of us who grew up in the day and age when discipline was a factor, it was an everyday factor. Whether you are disciplining your kids or you're disciplining yourself to do things that you need to get done. I mean, it takes a lot of discipline for me to do some of the stuff that I do at work because I put up with a lot of stuff. Not only do I put up with a lot of stuff from other people, customers, sometimes employees who just don't want to do their jobs, they're dragging their tail ends. And I go to work almost on a regular, everyday basis with back pain, knee pain, ankle pain, foot pain. Sometimes my arm hurts depending on what job I'm doing. Because if I'm at the window, my left arm is up against the window and I have to stick it out the window in the cold air. So that causes joint pains because I'm getting old. But that's just factors of life. And a lot of these young people, because they haven't been disciplined properly or haven't been brought up with the proper amount of discipline. I mean, I can understand nowadays a lot of these kids don't understand that what their parents are doing is more abuse than discipline. So they don't know the difference between abuse and discipline. I mean, if you're hitting your child for no reason whatsoever, that's abuse. If you're hitting your child, I shouldn't say hitting, spanking, disciplining your child because they've done something wrong and you know they did it wrong and they don't fully understand that they did it wrong. If you don't properly discipline them, they won't know the difference between right and wrong. And I think that's the problem with a lot of these kids. So it's one of those, where's the line? We don't know where it is no more because of Dr. Spock and the authorities who are like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that to your child. Well, if you don't do certain things to your child, how are they going to know right from wrong? I mean, there is a fine line between discipline and abuse, but I think a lot of the people who are abusive are either those who are out of control drinkers, alcoholics, drug addicts, they don't know the difference. They just get so frustrated with the world, they take it out on an innocent because and I don't mean just children. I mean animals as well. I have seen plenty of people who just well, I shouldn't say I've seen them because if I saw them, I probably would have beat the crap out of them. But I've heard of so many cases where people are just abusing animals just because. Is it because of the fact that they feel they have no control over their lives or what's going on in their lives, so they have to exert their dominance over an innocent, defenseless child or animal? Um, go away. Stupid messages. I thought I had those blocked. But yeah, I do believe the world needs to learn how to be disciplined, let alone give discipline. I mean, I learned discipline as a child. I learned discipline in my short stretch in the military. Um, and I do mean a short stretch because of my uh, because of my health and whatnot. Basic training was a pain. Oh, yeah, it was difficult. Um, but anyhow, this is almost 30 minutes long. Yay! In the near future, hope. Sorry, I keep on putting my hand in front of my face. Shouldn't be doing that. In my near future vlogs, I think I'm gonna start a series, and hopefully I can keep to it depending on my work schedule and remembrance. Might have to write myself a note or two. But in my near future vlogs, I'm going to do vlogs on my past, so you guys can learn about me and get to know me a little bit better. If it doesn't chase some of you people off, great. I know there are segments of my past that are going to be heartfelt and yeah, it's going to be heartfelt and kind of difficult on me, and it's already starting to affect me knowing what I have to talk about because let's just say losing a family member, whether they're close or not, for me can be difficult. Oh yeah. And I'm not going to hide from them because the problem I've found in the past, a lot of men try to be macho. Oh, I'm not going to show my feelings. I'm going to be no, sorry. I show my feelings. I wear my heart on my sleeve, as my wife would say. Why? Because I have found out in my past, which I will talk about, that if I hold in my emotions, whether it's anger, sorrow, depression, whatever you want to call it, it becomes a powder keg. And that powder keg is very, very sensitive to everything. And I've learned that if I do not release that powder keg safely, I can hurt people. And I've already hurt a couple people. Not all of them I can remember because they weren't so evident after that calms down. Um, for those of you who know the expression Jekyll and Hyde or know the stories of Jekyll and Hyde, that's me when I become a powder keg. I become Jekyll and Hyde. And let's just say the last time I had a major blowout, which was back in my teens, and which I will talk about. I got into a. Let's just say I got into a. Not a full blown fist fight, but a pretty good swinging match with one of my cousins. And let's just say I did not fully know what I was doing, and I did not realize until the day after my mother attempted her best to remove me from the situation from behind so she wasn't in front of me. And the next day on my shoulder, there were claw marks from my mom trying to pull me away. And I didn't know about any of the pain that it was causing me until the day after. So, and I will get into details on that. In fact, ask me about it. Ask me questions left and right. I will answer all your questions as best as I can. It might take me a day or two, but I will get to I will get to them. I'm hoping I can get this onto YouTube because it's going to be a little long. And hopefully I can get the volume fixed. Jared's going to help me with that. But let's go ahead and end this with discipline. The Bible states that we are supposed to discipline our children. We're not supposed to spare the rod. They are supposed to be disciplined so they can know and learn right from wrong, and they can grow up and be more proper and full of mannerisms and dignity and respect for the world around them. I know in Europe they've got programs. No, I'm not going to go there. Just ask me about how the teenagers in Europe are respectful and disciplined, and I will tell you about that. Anyhow, I'm going to sign off. I will hopefully be putting more blogs on very soon, as in one today, one tomorrow. Hopefully I can start getting at least one maybe not every day, but hopefully every other day, depending on my work schedule. In fact, I gotta work on that. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, hit the bell so you get notified. And hopefully, any of your questions, you go ahead and put it in your comments, and hopefully I'll be able to get to them and answer them, if not via text, definitely by video. Until then, God bless and see you tomorrow. Have a good one.